This month, Proton is really on a kick with their product development, as you can see. I don't know if you guys watched my last video. I just kind of talked about how Proton released their own AI, like kind of chatbot model type thing. But now, Proton has actually released yet another product. This earlier this week, Proton Authenticator. So this is really cool. Again from the Proton team. Again, they keep adding more and more things to their suite, which is great. It's always good to have a full stack of features. I get that. But kind of today I kind of want to take a look and see, what Proton Authenticator has to offer. Now, if you guys aren't aware, the company Proton, or, probably more popular like Proton Mail, right? It's a Swiss-based, basically, like you can call it like a mail and office kind of suite. Like they're trying to be, like Office 365, but a privacy friendly, open source, secure version, right? But this week they did something pretty cool. They released their own Authenticator app. It's not like I said, it's not like groundbreaking, I think, to deploy an app like this, but it's cool that they release something that's their own, that's, their brand and everything, right? Because there's a lot of trust already with Proton products. I mean, it's one of the ones that I trust, but, it's always good to have your eggs in multiple baskets, right? But basically, Proton Authenticator, as we can see here, this is basically the user interface. It's pretty simple, like any other Authenticator app. Just kind of has the verification codes that cycle every however many seconds. I think it's like 20 to like 30 seconds, depending on what kind of application, and you can add as many, I think, as you want. Earlier this week, I actually migrated my Authenticator from using Authy to Proton, and it was a pretty smooth experience. I was actually kind of devastated because Authy doesn't support importing it to another app, so I had to manually do it, which is no big deal, right? That's not the end of the world. But there's a couple other apps on there where you're able to import the keys, or import the keys automatically, which is kind of nice. But you always should save a backup somewhere, right? But for me, the adding the accounts to my Proton Authenticator was pretty easy and pretty smooth in the process. For all of my accounts, probably took no more than 30 minutes at the most. It might have been, it was mostly me at the end just kind of re-signing into stuff and just double checking that it worked, right? So I don't have any issues down the line. But yeah, pretty much, Proton Authenticator, we can kind of see here there's some key features, right? It protects your accounts with trusted security. You can get your codes on your desktop and your mobile. You can import your codes, your existing codes easily, except if you have Authy like me. And then you can obviously lock the app with extra biometrics or pins for security, which is nice too. But essentially, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? You can download the app, scan the QR code on the app you want to have the authenticator behind, and you can, just kind of set it up like that. Some of the key features here, right? Proton being open source. It has an encrypted sync. Obviously, the claim to fame is no ads or tracking, and it's pretty cool. Proton's available on Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and Linux, which is great, right? You got a nice variety of platforms. You can have it on your phone, you can have it on your computer, you can even have it on like your work computer, some other computer, if you want to have like that kind of like a segregated, tech stack, right, in case something dire or whatever happened to like your main PC or main phone, right? But yeah, it's pretty cool, having another device, basically on the Proton suite. And I think one of the biggest things that I like is that Proton is in fact open source. The Authenticator and I guess all their products, right? They're open source, so that kind of really, I guess, kind of seals the nail in the coffin, right? If the product's open source, right, a philosophy I heard is that, if an application is basically, if it's proprietary closed source software, it's spyware unless proven otherwise, right? So this being open source kind of just solidifies that. If there's something bad in there, like someone's obviously going to be like, hey, don't use this. It's calling back to this server. It's saying, here, look at all the accounts this guy has. He's got like 5 Microsoft accounts, blah, 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 right? But yeah, it being open source is really nice. Just kind of helps solidify that going. Overall, like, the look and feel and the use have been, very easy for me. It's just like another authenticator app, but it's really nice that Proton, added this to their suite and all that kind of stuff. But, at the end of the day, it is just an authenticator app. Nothing too groundbreaking here, but I'd like to hear what you guys have to say below. I know I was looking at Reddit, and there's some kind of negative comments about how they wanted other features, excuse me, to be improved within some of the other apps. But I think, having an authenticator and, kind of building out that in the tech stack is pretty important, right? It's just another way to, kind of get some people that might be on the fence, or I don't know if you're stuck using Microsoft or Authy or some other authenticator, right? You can kind of get over to this one. It's a nice, big name open source authenticator that's it's been working so far for me. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.